Welcome, everybody, to the brand new episode of the Pokémon Pondcast. Today's episode, Battle Bill's Munkidori, winner of our poll. And today we have a new guest. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I am Lumi, or the Lumios Post is what my channel name is. But yeah, I'm happy to be there. Happy to talk about Munkidori with you all, get into some monkey business.
And for you newcomers, our exciting Battle Build series is where we train the same Pokemon in secret and reveal our strategies live. The goal is to inspire out-of-the-box thinking and showcase the boundless possibilities of Pokemon training. It's all about embracing creativity and showing that there's no one way to train a Pokemon. Let's dive into it. Munkidori is one of the loyal 3 Pokemon for the Kitakami DLC of Scarlet and Violet. It is a Poison Psychic type Pokemon that takes 2 times damage from Ground, Ghost, and Dark, takes half damage from Poison, Grass, and Fairy, and 1/4 damage from Fighting. With the abilities Toxic Chain, which can poison anyone hit by a non-self-targeting move.
It's badly poisoned, by the way, in case...
Oh, so it's badly poisoned by any non-targeting. Or the hidden ability Frisk, which reveals the held item. Its base stat is 555 with hit points at 88, attack of 75, defense of 66, special attack at 130, special defense at 90, and a speed of 106.
Alright, so I named my Munkidori Bob, because in order to survive, he needs to kind of bob in and out of combat. I gave him the move Nasty Plot to up his special attack, Venoshock, because that partners really well with the ability Toxic Chain, which I also gave him Hex, which also partners really well with that ability, and Protect so that he can bob in and out and hopefully survive more while his enemies are dying from poison. Because he's a little bit fragile, I gave him a Focus Sash, but on an actual competitive team, only one Pokemon can hold the Focus Sash, so if it can't be him, then we have to figure out a different item. But anyways, 252 special attack, 252 speed, 4 HP. The nature raises speed because, again, he's got to bob in and out of there, and minuses attack. And Terra-type Poison to get some extra damage off of that Venoshock and remove some of his weaknesses from the Psychic type.
Yeah, I think I feel like Venoshock is like a really good move to have on this mod and probably the other 2 as well. Not that I'm putting it on my build or anything. Yeah, and then you have that Hex too, like getting that Poison onto like the enemy Pokemon and then just having like 2 different moves to be able to like deal that extra damage with it. It's like really nice. I remember challenging that thing in game and just kept spamming Nasty Pot. I'm like, oh god, the nightmare. Trying to catch this thing.
Well, I love it. I personally did not opt for Nasty Plot on mine, but that was tempting. That was like one of the things I ran, and in fact, I had a lot of fun using Munkidori during like the Teal Mask era, like in competitive, and it was a lot of fun to use, and I ran a Nasty Plot set myself, so it does wonders. Nasty Plot alone does wonders. Venoshock and Hex on top of it, I mean, honestly, Cayla, that's a little cruel. I gotta be honest. that's just you're wanting the opponent to cry.
Yeah,
I think Shot's a pretty good build. Actually, it's looking a little bit familiar. The use of the Nasty Plot. To me, Nasty Plot is kind of just there. I don't think it really needs it, especially if you have the EVs like you do built into the special attack. But at the same time, why not? It's a numbers game. Once the numbers are big enough, you just sweep your opponent's team. The Venoshock and Hex is yet again playing in that same game of numbers, because once you poison them with that Toxic Chain, they're going to be massive attacks with absolutely no drawback, and we're going to see this on probably any offensive build.
I have to admit, the Nasty Plots is just so wrong, and the fact that you're capitalizing on the fact that the doubling damage of Hex and Venoshock, I think, yeah, that is a really good combo, especially now that you're basically force multiplying your damage eventually, especially with running the Toxic Chain.
So my Munkidori, which I have named Washoi, just because it reminds me of like those people at, like Japanese festivals with like the little headband thing on its head and its slippers. I gave it a timid nature to make it like, to put it as like one of those like, speedy special sweepers. So 252 speed, 252 special attack, I put 4 points in defense here. I mean, I don't know if that's really going to help it much, but one more point can. For its build, though, I kind of went with a little bit. I wanted to work with its hidden ability, Frisk. So I have that. And then using that ability, I have the move Trick as well as the item Toxic Orb. So I think if you can, if you know where I'm going with this, by using Frisk, I will see what kind of item the opponent has. So you see if it's safe enough for me to trick. And of course, what Pokemon is out too. So that I can get that Toxic Orb onto the opponent. To help out with that, I also have Venoshock to proc the extra damage when the target gets poisoned. I have Fake Out just to maybe that's something I can use first before I end up using Trick. And I also have Psy Shot to deal, to hit that defense stat instead of the special defense stat. And then I just left that as a Terra Poison type just to do more damage and I'll shot.
That is so cool. Like, I didn't even think about doing that, but oh my gosh, if somebody pulled that out on me, I'd be like, wait, what? It'd be kind of shocking because I feel like the natural thing is to go with Toxic Chain, but ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, exactly what Cayla said. There's definitely like a really strong mind component to battling, right? Like mind game component, and that's what I do. Like when I send my Pokemon out and I see like, oh, the opposing Munkidori frisked your Pokemon, like, and saw its item, I'd be like, I'd be scared of what's about to happen because I'm like, oh, he's not running a Toxic Chain set. What's he, it being out of the ordinary is a really good play on the mind games. I'm just happy someone went with a Frisk on it because that is a lot of fun.
So I like how Darren went.
Honestly, this is a shocking build, and I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but the Toxic Orb thing with Trick feels like Toxic Chain with more steps. But the interesting thing about this is if you look at it from a lore perspective, maybe Munkidori is just trying to be the apprentice to Pecharunt in that whole poison and confusion thing and just kind of miss the mark instead of also confusing the Pokemon. This build is confusing the trainer.
I'm not gonna lie, I was actually thinking about running a Frisk build, and a lot of the things that you brought up, the Toxic Orb, the Trick, the Fake Out, those were moves I was actually looking at. We came close to basically building the same Pokemon. But I actually went a different direction. But yeah, I approve. I definitely like the way this build. It's very tricksy. It already throws confusion into your opponent simply because you're not running Toxic Chain, and now you may actually end up taking their precious held item and replacing it with something that's just going to give you an advantage.
Okay, so I ran a timid Munkidori. I ran it with Toxic Chain. I'm sorry, I love the first set, Guren, but I just can't resist the Toxic Chain. It's such a fun ability. And the moves I ran on it were Fake Out, Sludge Wave, Psychic, and Protect. Honestly, what I'm going for here is kind of a more techie version of the Munkidori that I used back in the Teal Mask era of competitive. And the goal here is Fake Out, obviously, is something that can bop the opponent, get you the flinch, which, buys you time, pops Focus Sashes. Sludge Wave and Psychic are two really strong moves. You have the option to get a Toxic Chain off, and I know Munkidori is not the bulkiest Pokemon, but I've come to find with using mine that, like, any non-super effective moves, it will take relatively okay. So with the Protect combined with the Black Sludge to heal up Munkidori, combined with hopefully the Toxic Chain activating and badly poisoning the opponent, you can kind of not only hit hard with this thing, but also maybe even be able to stall a little bit with Protect to heal up your health. I did also give it the Terra type of Psychic, just because the big thing that hurts this Munkidori set is the Steel typing. It resists Fake Out. Not that Fake Out's probably going to one-hit KO anything anyways. It resists Sludge Wave. In fact, it's immune to Sludge Wave. And then it resists the Psychic attack. So the Terra type's just to give it a little more boost to that Psychic typing so it can hit Steel types a little bit harder if for whatever reason you're backed into a corner. And Munkidori's all you have for the Steel type.
I did not even think of Black Sludge, and now I'm like, oh, that would have been such a good item to use. But yeah, I love that you have that on there. You will have to be careful with terrestrializing though, because if it switches into, you said Psychic, right?
Terra type
If-
Psychic, yeah.
Yeah, so if it switches into Psychic type, then the item will start to hurt it. Yeah, so obviously just be careful with that. But wow, yeah, that's such a smart item to use on Munkidori.
Yeah, I do like that as well. So like Fake Out, like you said earlier, like very wonderful move. Like it breaks the sashes, it does a little bit of chip damage, it possibly gets the flinch. Hopefully they don't have like inner focus or something. Yeah, and then Sludge Wave itself, like I think Sludge Wave also procs poison too, right? So like you have like that double roll to like see if you poison the opponent with it. Psychic, yeah, I think Psychic also lowers the stat too, if I remember correctly.
It can lower special defense.
Yeah, so like you add that on top, like you know, if you do get that proc, then it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing more damage. Yeah, and then Protect with the survivability along with the Black Sludge. I love that. Terra Psychic for more damage, but like what Cayla put in, I think Black Sludge would just poison it afterwards. But I mean, I would assume like if you're gonna be doing a lot of damage anyways, take out the opponent first before you do, before you get taken out yourself. So
Okay, yeah, it's just some pretty good offensive move, and also having protected if you need to use it. But Munkidori can KO or hit Fake Out. Can be really useful. And
I feel like the Black Sludge is an item that I run to every single time I'm looking at building a poison type Pokemon. But at the same time, I wanted to do something different, which is I'm glad that somebody came here today with a Black Sludge on their Poison Monkey. The other moves actually threw me off because so far, like Cayla's build has been very close to mine. Even Guren with some of the offensive moves that he chose is getting very close to mine. So it was really cool and refreshing to see somebody take an absolutely different take of just throwing Venoshock and Hexa.
I have to admit, the Black Sludge, I had totally forgotten, and I'm thinking, that is such a great item because if you played it right, let's say you had Trick instead of Protect, you could actually trick the Black Sludge onto your opponent, and they're taking the damage, and right before they go down, just swap it out and then hit them again.
oh my god, that totally flew over my head.
Wow.
I was just talking about it.
But
Just
the
over
fact
my
that you're
head.
getting heals off of that, it's just such an annoying item because it can be used two ways. But you've got it strictly for the healing purposes. You've got the Protect to give you that little buffer that's usually really important to have too, especially on a more fragile Pokemon. Yeah, I do like the overall the build, especially going with the Psychic and your Terra typing. I mean, you're definitely pushing for that special attack Wrecking Ball, and I like it.
okay, for Munkidori, I have 252 speed, 252, and special attack, and then 4 in HP. I have the Modest Nature to give it more special attack. And then for the item, I gave Life Orb, the ability Touch the Chain, and then the moves are Calm Mind, Surge Bomb, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. And then the Terra type is Psychic.
I like that you put Shadow Ball on it because obviously this thing is weak to ghost types. So being able to have a move to kind of cover you in those situations, I think was a really smart idea.
There ain't nothing modest about that, but no, but I think going modest too, like just to emphasize more its special attack side compared to its speed is I like that going forward as well. Cause like man, I think of like Munkidori as like a second coming of Alakazam almost, but like maybe not. I don't know. I would have to see both in a game to see like who's better to use. But yeah, I mean, just emphasizing that even more with the Life Orb for even more damage. And then I think you said you also had Nasty Plot, right? So like,
No, Calm Mind.
well, Calm Mind. So yeah, so you're getting that special defense boost plus even more special attack.
Yeah, no, I love this set a lot. Going for Modest rather than Timid when you have the 252 and special attack and speed is a really cool idea. Plus with the Life Orb, this thing's smacking. I like how, you opted for, instead of, moves to rely on the toxic chain activating like Venoshock and Hex, which I did really like. I do like how you've got it, like, where you're making sure this monkey can put out ton of damage regardless of if that's been activated or not.
Okay, I just have to ask, does this thing even live in a Pokeball, or for battle, do you just throw this at the opponent's face? Because this thing feels like it has such an amount of raw special attack and the attacks to go with it. Like, I don't even see this thing setting a strategy. You just throw this at your opponent and it starts eating them.
Well, pretty much I want to conquer the battle.
Oh, okay, you're trying to make this Monkey King. I see. Good strategy.
Yeah, I'm sitting here listening. It's like, calm mind. Okay, Life Orb. Okay, Shadow Ball. Oh, wow. This isn't a monkey. This is a Swiss Army knife. You are definitely
with Knack Infernape.
I mean, you basically bringing in something to counter everything that would hurt you, for the most part, and so it gives you a lot of pivot room for switching up on your combat. Plus the fact that you're slinging out so much damage, and if I'm not mistaken, Shadow Ball also drops a stat, doesn't it, or has a chance of dropping a stat, right?
Special defense, just like Magic.
Yeah. So at that point, it's like not only are you hitting harder, but you have the potential to hit even harder, and still do some of that toxic chain damage, which is really, really good. I like this.
My Munkidori is a little timid, just because I wanted to go with the speed over the attack. He doesn't need the physical attack anyways. Save that stuff for Infernape, like I mentioned. But I did boost his EVs into 252 special attack, 252 speed to make sure he's coming out swinging. I do fully intend on throwing this at my opponent's face instead of into the battlefield. Just to round off, I gave it that 4 points in special defense. Of course, we are operating with the Toxic Chain. I don't think Munkidori would be Munkidori without his Toxic Chain swinging. And then the Terra Ghost types there just to boost the very familiar moveset of Nasty Plot, Venoshock, Hex, and my wild card, instead of going with Protect to bob in and out of battle, is Baton Pass. Baton Pass is actually a big favorite. Lumi can support this of my battle style and the style that I come bringing from Lunaria. The name that I give it is also indicative of the held item that I gave it, the air balloon, naming it Nico, which is named after the winged monkey king from the Wizard of Oz novels. It's a reference to that air balloon, like I mentioned, and the fact that Draco likes to expose his strategy with his Pokemon nicknames.
I really like the combination of Nasty Plot and Baton Pass. Baton Pass can just get absolutely ridiculous, and so if Munkidori ever gets into a situation where he's like, I kind of got to peace out right now, it's nice to have that option.
He's gonna force the Baton Pass on his teammates. I like it. And then like what Cayla said, like having that Nasty Plot added extra damage to it, like any other special attacker you switch in afterwards with having that boost. Oh man, can imagine like the kind of damage you would do. And the air balloon caught me by surprise. I like it. Get at least surviving, hopefully, from like or being able to dodge, not get hit by a ground type.
Yeah, no, I love the Baton Pass. That's a great idea. I do also, like Guren said, love the air balloon on there. It's nice because you can. Munkidori isn't usually the Pokemon you're thinking of when like switching into an earthquake, but now that monkey's flying, so you can.
Like monkeys.
I thought you loved
the Wizard of Oz set.
I do. I love it.
Yeah, I like the way how Lumi has his Munkidori set up, so it doesn't get hit by Earth downtime move, which is pretty helpful with the air balloon. And then with the top pass, you can make it better too.
I have got to admit, I wasn't expecting the air balloon, and it's such a treat because nobody would see this coming, and you can bait them with something else that's weak to ground types, and then pop that switch, and then just start going to town, and then like as you were describing, it's like all I can think of is plop plop pass, plop plop pass.
So that's exactly it, because I don't run Nasty Plot on my Pecharunt. So the idea is much like it being the apprentice to Pecharunt. That's exactly, this sets up the Nasty Plot, does its damage, passes to Pecharunt, been already poisoned, and now Pecharunt boosted.
For my build, so my Terra type I chose was Steel. The ability was Toxic Chain. And of course I've got Venoshock, I've got Poison Jab, I took Sky Shock, and the strategy's so nice I had to use it twice. Last move is Flatter, and the item I'm holding is Mirror Herb. I open up with the Flatter to give my opponent the +2 special attack, which Mirror Herb is going to proc back on me to give the Psyshock and the Venoshock a lot more damage potential. And the poison jab is there to get that toxic chain going with a double roll. As far as stats goes, I went 252 in defense, 76 for attack, and 180 for my speed. Because I wanted this thing to go fast and be defensive as possible and let Venoshock do most of the work for me.
Wow, I didn't think of using that combination. But I remember you using that before. It's just such a crazy combination. I think because it's a new item that I think a lot of times people aren't really sure how to use it. But it works so well with Flatter.
Yeah, I totally was not expecting a Flatter mirror item set on your build. So like that really surprised me. And then the fact that you also invested more into like its defenses too, and a little bit into its attack, just so that you can do a little more damage with the poison jab. What nature did you say it was again? Quirky. That's a neutral nature?
It is a neutral nature.
That is a neutral nature. Yeah, see, something you don't see too often. So it's like, yeah, so just having those, plus the Psy Shock and the Venom Shock, and then Flatter. Like I said earlier, like Flatter, I mean, it's nice to like have it on as an option to confuse your opponent, and then even more so if your opponent's a physical attacker instead. So
Flatter Mirror, I mean, I feel like I could stop there. I love that. I almost kind of think that would be really nice paired with X's as well, where it's like you do the Flatter Mirror and then you could also put Baton Pass on it. That would be a lot of fun. I really like Flatter Mirror. I forget that Mirror Herb exists so often, and things like this prove that it's an item that I need to remember for sure.
Yeah, I like it. How you set your monkey complete different build, and having a Flutter combined with what was it?
The Mirror Herb.
Pretty good setup to start with, and just wipe your opponent out.
The fact that you made a mixed attacker out of this to use Poison Jab is very interesting to me. And I really feel like we have to sit Munkidori down and have an intervention, because most of these builds are just Munkidori trying to be Petra, trying to figure out a way to both confuse and poison the opponent. And you actually have a really good way of doing that, because the Flatter is going to confuse them. The fact that it targets them will trigger the toxic chain with the potential of poisoning them and leaving them confused from the spot, giving them that attack boost that they won't even be able to capitalize on. Mirror gives you that same attack boost, and you just murder them.
I was having a really tough time going through trying to pick out exactly what moves I would go with, because regardless of what ability you roll, there is a lot that Munkidori can do, and I was really finding difficulty with this one, trying to really pin down how to get a good build going. Like, did you guys have similar issues?
I had a hard time being original with. I felt like there were too many things that were almost a given.
yeah.
I feel like of the loyal 3, Munkidori is the most generic in terms of the way its stats are spread and the moves that it can learn. I think the other 2 have a lot weirder possibilities.
Everything needs Baton Pass.
Actually, it was one of the things I was thinking about was Baton passing it to something that uses either stored power or even better, Power Trip. Like,
jeez.
Corviknight.
Yeah.
Lumi probably runs Mist, or is it Haze, or Clear, the Clear Smog, just because of some of my geeks.
I mean, if you can Baton Pass it into a Flutter main, oh boy.
No.
Yeah.
I
a bad day.
I'm balanced into a Goldango that has maxed out evasion, maxed out special defense, and maxed out special attack.
You.
Oh,
Gross.
jeez, yeah, that's nasty. You're gonna have to set a nasty plan for it.
Monster.
It just comes in and then, hey, make it rain.
Oh yeah, and I make sure to have Nasty Plot to recover that when I do make it rain.
Oh, man.
Spirit Academy, they never made it past the bird, Lumi.
I probably did have the same issue as X, like trying to find it to be original. Like Cayla said, you look at its stats and like the immediate thought is like timid and all. But honestly, there is so many techie things, and I think we proved that here today. There's so many techie things it can do, like You can do Fake Out, you can do Nasty Plot, you can do Flatter, Mirror, you can do, I mean, even without the Mirror, Flatter's not bad at all, you know, and then Baton Pass, of course, Calm Mind, just so many different status moves that Munkidori gets. It's a fun little guy.
With that, we'll bring this episode to a close. What are your thoughts about our builds? Let us know down below. And as always, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And I want to take special thanks to Cayla, X, and Lumi for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, everybody.
Yeah, always glad to be here.
And as always, have a wonderful day. Bye.
No more monkey business.
Have a good weekend.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.